How do you prepare for the second lockdown as well as the election riots? Much better. So yeah, hi there. If you're watching this video, this is my first episode that I'm doing out my political series right now. And what better thing to start than on the day before the US election? Wow. I mean, yeah, it's going to be something. And under the title of this video, I'm going to cover the two things that if you're an American white-born civilian, you've got to prepare for these. But it doesn't just appease to the white folks in America, it also appeases to other races in America who have also voted for Trump, who are going to vote for Trump today as I say this right now. So whatever the election results will be, this is my advice on what you should be doing in case in case of these two things start to happen. Let's address the so-called riots that are about to take place soon, after the results of tonight and probably tomorrow. We all know that if Trump wins this election, you better lock and load, as I say, because these Antifa scumbags, these Black Lives Matter scumbags, they're out for blood. They're out for your blood like sharks, and they can sense weakness. They're not just gonna, in my view, attack businesses and streets and vandalize great cities like Portland, Chicago, and Illinois, and including Washington DC of all places. They're not just going to attack high streets, but they're also going to, in my view, attack your homes. And if you've got a Trump/Pence sign, you better watch out, because you will be a prime target. There's been multiple footage of these racial hatred videos of these racist blacks from Black Lives Matter just attacking white people, and it's blatant racism, because they're simply attacking them for the nothing more than the color of their skin, and it's just so telling. Just excuse me, I need to blow into my fly for a bit so it doesn't go out. There we go. If you ever want to learn how to secret of fire, this is your perfect Tinder/Kindle. Birch bark. Tear some of the white parts into that and just throw that into the fire, and that will burn like toilet roll and paper. It's so easily flammable, and the best thing about it is that it's got the you see the red part here? I don't know if you can see that, but it's got some red resin here. That burns, and it keeps the resin inside it keeps it burning for a long time. So if you want to know the secret of fire burning, then that's your stick, in my view. Throw that in as well. But get used to fire burning into your eyes as well. So yeah. But if you live in any of the big cities, like the Democrat shitholes, like LA, San Diego, San Francisco, Portland, Chicago, New York, any urban area, right? I think it's a good idea that you prepare for the worst, because the police are not going to protect people like you. So lock and load, prepare for your house to be vandalized. I would say board up your house, and I'd also, if I were you, I think you would stand a much better chance if you get in contact with your neighbors who think alike, who will also be attacked as well, and form these kind of mini group neighborhood militias. You know, try to prepare, try to learn the perimeter of your street, and help those that are more vulnerable to you, like like the elderly who can't really put up much of a fight, even if they want to. You know, put put their lives at best interest, because you as an able-bodied man, you know, you're going to be fine as long as you know what you're doing and know how to protect yourself. But the women and children and the elderly, you know, they're going to be the victims in this. They're going to be easy targets for these anti-white, hate groups. So if I were you, I would try to gather around them, try to protect them in a basement, try to protect them, try to send them away. Basically, send them away somewhere safe so they won't be harmed. And you and your group of your male militia, right? You know, you've got to be ruthless with these people. Now, one thing I want to point out is I don't want you guys, for you to get in trouble, is to go out, deliberately, intentionally shooting these people once you see them. Don't do that, because you will still get prosecuted at the end of the day, even though they pose a threat to you. What I should say is that you should always record them doing it, and not just that, only fire back once they are intentionally attacking you. Like they're vandalizing your house, they're trying out to kill you. Only when your life feels threatened, in my view, that you should feel that you should attack these people. So just be aware about that, because these people are ruthless. They are ruthless, and what is worse about these people is that once they're framed, they try to act like the victim. So there's nothing worse when a black or white suburban faggot little boy Antifa member attacks you and your family, and once they get prosecuted by the police, they try to act like the victim. There's nothing worse when you have those situations. So you've got to film, clearly got to show their evidence, and you've only got to defend yourself and pretty much be aggressive when they start intentionally attacking you. Once you see them, if you see a crowd just moving by, don't fire at them, don't provoke them, because in the end they will paint you as the aggressor. So be prepared for the riots. Now, in case if Trump doesn't win and it's Biden who wins, I don't really think there will be riots. I think, from the right, a lot of people like me will be very disappointed, even though I'm an Englishman and I can't vote in the US elections. I would say that, you should basically prepare for more authoritarian action, and this is where things will get worse in the long term, because Biden, if we know all things, he's not just a pedophile of the president, but he's confirmed, and also his son is also a dirty nonce as well, which we call here in the UK a pedo, if you don't know the English terminology. Once they get into power, they're going to slowly make this entire lockdown worse. They're gonna put more authoritarian restrictions, far worse, I'd say, here in the UK, funny enough, even though I'd say. But yeah, you've got to make sure, in my view, that you've got to prepare for the worst. And what you have to do is you have to defend your rights as a civilian, because if you don't, don't be surprised that the government will laugh as they're taking every moment of right that you have, I'd say. Even if somehow the government still, screws you over, as it often does, right? Try to, in my view, make sure that the government doesn't really, affect your life. If the Second Amendment becomes removed and it gets repealed, simply hide your guns. Just break the law. What's the point of being a legal civilian anymore when the government is not going to be just anymore? I mean, seriously, what is the point? It's a losing game being the legal civilian when these authoritarian leftist cunts I'm going to make your life a living hellhole as time goes by. So why give them the trouble? You've got to be resilient at the end of the day. But yeah, this is going to be a very tough time, I'd say. But whatever the results will be, heck, what could possibly happen is that there could be, in my view, seriously, there could be a debacle of who's actually won the election, and this could go on for months. You can have one side of saying, oh, Trump didn't really win, and then Trump could be saying that on his side that, voter fraud was, clearly a problem. But what you have to remember at the end of the day is that whoever wins, this isn't going to be over. This hell road of our rights being infringed, civil liberties and Western stability is going to keep degenerating. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Trust me, that's how things always often go. I mean, take the Second World War. There could have been multiple accounts to prevent the Second World War. Treaty of Versailles could have never been proposed in the first place. Adolf Hitler could have been stopped from getting into power. And, all of this could have been prevented. Like always in history, people always leave things at the last moment. Do they? They always leave things at the last moment. They never really, truly, in my view, deal with them at first hand. And that's the goddamn problem. And if people did started to, deal with it firsthand, we wouldn't have these issues, would we? Now, my preparation advice for the COVID thing is that you should always think that whatever is happening in the urban areas, that's where the first authoritarian, legislation is going to take place. In these urban areas, you're going to see the first types of people that are going to be under this lockdown. You're going to see people being forced to not leave their homes. Every time when they get out their car, they're going to be stopped by a bunch of patrol police, which I have no clue how they're going to police that. But that's just crazy. You're going to see, people, being forced to stay at home, not go outside, not go to restaurants, not go to shops. Small business are going to hurt. And guess who's going to profit out of all of this? Cough, cough, big corporations. The elites. These people that don't need to, thrive, in my view. People who, I'd say, who don't need this form of, community sense, because they've got all their wealths, they've got all their power and positions anyway. They've got their family, they've got their high elite status. You don't, and that's why you will struggle in these tough authoritarian times. It's not going to be surprising, in my view, that nature, my whole entire channel that revolves around the English countryside and nature, is going to be, all this forest is going to be cleared away. All the farm fields are going to be, imprisoned, because the farm industry is going to be, in my view, I'd say, made illegal, because, oh, what's that? You wanna grow some meat? Don't you know that meat is bad for you, new citizen? Don't you know that you have to be eating some insects, or some, you're gonna be eating, you're gonna be having vegan food? Even though it's been proven that vegan food and a vegan lifestyle does more harm to your body than any other form of diet that meat can do. They're going to make things more worse in decades and centuries to come. This is only the beginning. Um, and it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day that this whole COVID outbreak that took place early this March was, deliberately, intentionally released, in my view, because governments, if they wanted to really stop this from infecting a lot of people internationally, is they could have easily just closed the borders, done a quarantine zone of everybody who's going in and out of their country, and then just do that. But did they do that? No, they didn't. Instead, they decided that no, 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 no. You, my friend, you have to endure this lockdown. You have to, endure these new rules and new legislations we're putting up against on you. It's crazy. But what do you expect? A bunch of fanatical, power-hungry cretins who are not only deviants by nature, but are also, in my view, are everything that is wrong about humanity 101, basically. So, if I were you, if you're living in the city, in the urban areas, move to the country. Now, of course, it's not easy. It's easy for me to say this, but I know that you've got jobs. I know that money isn't a big thing for you, but when you're going to be forced to move out, whether you like it or not, just learn, use my channel and use many other channels that can teach you how to survive and prep in the country outdoors. Yes, you're going to be a hobo, a country hobo, but in my view, I'd rather want to be a hobo in the wild woodland areas, wild places, than in the cities. Because in the cities, you can't shit anywhere, you can't sleep anywhere, you're going to be surrounding yourself with degenerate, dangerous people. It's going to be crazy. And, I'd say it's worth it, in my view, to, endure, I'd say, the country hardships than the urban hardships. Because trust me, it's not easy in an urban environment. I'd say it's completely just living hell. Pop that there. I'm gonna shut that there. But anyways, that's my intake on what's going to happen over this upcoming, I'd say, election, and then next year lockdown, second lockdown this time. So yeah, this is going to be one out of many videos. This is the very first political rant video I've been doing. It makes sense because today is the day of the US election. So whatever results, just go out and vote. Go vote for Trump if you can. If you are an American, if you're a dual citizen and you're living in another country, I'll link you some sites in this video that will show you how to vote. But by the time you would have clicked on that link, I think the election results would have been already called out by the time this video goes out. But whatever happens, whether Trump wins or Biden wins, the struggle continues. But try to be immersed in an independent mindset, because it's the people who think independent and people who think long term who really truly make their lives turn around, in my view. But otherwise, I'm gonna enjoy my coffee, and I'm gonna call it a day with you guys. But again, whatever the results be, I hope that you will prepare for the worst and you will thrive in the good times, hopefully to come out of your own hard work and your own hard efforts. So, cheers to that. And I bid you farewell and good luck.